Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching The Political Vigilante, bringing you hot truth because I have no desire to be a cult leader. And you can support what we're doing here by going to patreon.com/Graham Elwood and submit topics like Eric Husso has done. Eric has been supporting our show for quite a while. Eric, we very much appreciate it. Another great way to support the show is go to the website, sign up for the newsletter at grahamelwood.com. There's Political Vigilante merchandise and also tour dates with Ron Placone, Portland, Oregon, July 28th, Seattle, Washington, July 29th, and Vancouver, Canada, July 30th. All those tickets are at grahamelwood.com. But right now, we're going to talk about who was at the Bilderberg group just past week that just happened. Now, this was submitted by Eric Husso at patreon.com/Graham Elwood, and thank you, Eric. I've been aware of Bilderberg for a while. I haven't really done much on it because I don't like getting into, because it's so shrouded in secrecy. It lends itself to too much conspiratorial thinking. And I don't want to just do that. I like to stay in facts. Even when I talk about Epstein, I talk about flight logs. I talk about who's invested in money and stuff like that. But this is legit. So Bilderberg, Pfizer CEO was there, head of the CIA, Facebook vice president, other elites secretly meeting in DC, corporate media assigned. And that's accurate. You would think, I mean, every year we talk about Davos meeting or the G8 summit or whatever. Why is this one never talked about? These are a lot of very important people. They're not just getting together to play golf. Like, you would think they would be covering this, but it's complete. There's no media allowed. No one's allowed in there. There's no coverage of it. And because the most powerful people in the world control the media, there's 5 multinational conglomerates, maybe even 4 now, that control 95% of all media. That's why this show has been demonetized, because they can't control me. So they got to try to stick it to me and censor me. And I've been demonetized for 16 months now. 17 months. Jeez. So why can't you talk about this at all? At all. Why does the media not talk about this? Why is the media not allowed in it? Why is no one who attends this allowed to talk about it? That seems a little odd. But when the world is run by a handful of wealthy people, we're talking about maybe 4,000 billionaires, roughly, control the whole world. 7.5 billion people are controlled by 4,000 billionaires. And the billionaire number, that's an estimate, right? But this roughly how many people control the world. And you think some Hollywood celebrity or some athlete making 50 million or 100, you think they have a lot of power? They have some influence. They have big influence. They have big social media platforms. They can reach millions of people, but they don't have real power. They don't have real power. Unless they go on strike, like they did during the Jacob Blake shooting, and then they went back to playing because Obama told them to stop striking, which is the one moment they had all this power, these pro athletes, and they didn't, and Obama told them. But what did they talk about? Geopolitical realignments, NATO challenges, China, Indo-Pacific realignment, Sino-U.S. tech competition, Russia, continuity of government and the economy, disruption of the global financial system, disinformation. So it's one of the things they talk about is like, how do we put out disinformation? Which I am convinced part of what their disinformation is to just get everybody fighting, no matter what it is. Just get something for people to fight about, right? Energy and sustainability, post-pandemic health, fragmentation of democratic societies, trade and deglobalization, and Ukraine. Now, the head of Pfizer was there. So I don't trust the big pharmaceutical companies. And now I always take a lot of shit. Oh, but Graham loved mandates and Graham's a big pharma Nazi. And there's some complexities to that. And the thing that I was always critical on of big pharma is why they didn't give the vaccine for free to third world countries. And that always just sort of gets glossed over. I wouldn't doubt if the big pharmaceutical companies had a cure for COVID and they didn't want us to have it. I wouldn't doubt if they deliberately funded. I know there's a big medical industry billionaire that's given some money to some YouTube shows. And he told one of these shows, you have to push anti-vax stuff. And they were like, no, I'm not pushing that. That tells me that, look what they did. Look what vax and mandates did to the left. Everyone's fighting about it. No one's together anymore. It's great. They're loving it. So if they created a fight anytime, so anyone that got all mad, either pro or everyone that attacked me, you were doing their bidding. And I guarantee you they were, this is just my theory. I don't have any hard evidence, but when I know what their tactics are and I see the result of something, everybody fighting about something and people turning on each other, well, then I know that they were behind this because they planned this out. Disinformation, right? Fragmentation of democratic societies. Well, that's what we've got. Right? So we can only guess what they were actually planning because there's nobody there reporting on it. There's no transcripts, there's no nothing. But this is what we can focus on is the Logan Act. And I'm going to get into what that is in a second, but there are US politicians that are in clear violation of the Logan Act. That is verifiable. I don't like getting into conspiracies because I don't know. I see this list of stuff. I don't know how this was discussed. I can guess, but I don't want to get into, I don't want to get into too much like conspiracy theory stuff. I don't like doing that. These are facts though. Former presidents George H.W. Bush, that's Bush Sr., and Bill Clinton both attended Bilderberg conferences in the years before being elected to the Oval Office. Tony Blair was on hand at the 93rd Bilderberg meeting before becoming Prime Minister of England in 97. And Emmanuel Macron, the president of France, attended in 2014 just prior to being elected. So those are facts. George H.W. Bush was a member. He was the head of the CIA. His son was in the Skull and Bones. It's a fact. It's a fact. Bill Clinton flew on Epstein's plane 26 times. But all of these people went to the Bilderberg and then became very powerful after the meeting. That's more than a conspiracy theory. That feels like more tangible evidence. Bilderberg attendees must abide by the Chatham House rules, meaning that while participants can use the information received, they are barred from talking about any individual who may have steered their decisions. So again, we can only theorize what is said in there. But when somebody goes to these meetings and when they come out, they become president, that means it feels like some powerful people help that happen. And then when powerful people put you in the White House or 10 Downing Street or whatever, they're going to say, we put you in here. We need this and this and this to happen. This is how you sell it. That seems like very. But I want to talk about the violation of the Logan Act, because now we're getting out of conspiracies and what ifs into legitimate law being broken. Okay. The information about him going over there and violating the Logan. This is Rand Paul was talking about Mitt Romney. Okay. The information about him going over there and violating the Logan Act and getting involved. I'm just impressed that that's in the ordinary media. I think that's encouraging too, Rand Paul said during an interview at the time. I'm sorry, Governor Rick Perry, not Mitt Romney. Sorry, Governor Rick Perry, noticing that Governor Perry's attendance was a sign that he's involved in the international conspiracy. These are Rand Paul's words. So I wanted to clip out, this is the Logan Act. Paul is not simply, the Logan Act clearly states in part, any citizen of the United States, wherever he may be, who without authority of the United States directly or indirectly commences or carries on any correspondence or intercourse with any foreign government or any officer or agent thereof with intent to influence the measures or conduct of any foreign government or any officer or agent thereof in relation to any disputes or controversy with the United States, or to defeat the measures of the United States, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 3 years or both. This Logan Act is about, you can't, one of the things that the founding fathers did is they weren't like heroes. They owned slaves. They set up America as a tax dodge. Like that's not, America's a scam. They did genocide. Slavery. They took the land away from the indigenous people of North America. So I'm not saying that they're like heroes. But one of the things, and there are some very good things about the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, is they really said they didn't want foreign influence, right? So you have the emoluments clause. You can't take gifts, right? Because that's influence. That Trump was a violation of that. They could have gotten Trump out for the emoluments clause, but they didn't. What this is stating, anyone with intent to influence the measures or conduct of any foreign government or any officer or agent thereof in relation to any disputes or controversies with the United States, or to defeat the measure of the United States, shall be fined or imprisoned under more than 3 years or both. This is a law. The Logan Act is so you cannot participate in somebody trying to influence. So when you're going to the Bilderberg group with all of these billionaires and CEOs, it's about 120 some people, the most powerful people in the world, that is foreign influence, because America's supposed to be by the people, for the people. So you see that it's another thing to show you that this is in violation. So why isn't the media screaming about this? Whoever's gone to the Bilderberg, whoever just came back from there, right? Kristen Sienna was apparently just there this past weekend. She's a Democrat. Now she's saying she's an independent. So we'll see what tunes she's singing now that she's back. Because it was, I think, from the 2nd to the 5th this past weekend, right? Today's June 7th. So we're going to see it's going to be real interesting. So that is a clear violation, is the Logan Act. So she violated the Logan Act by going to this. There's foreign influence at this Bilderberg meeting. That was the whole point of the Logan Act and the emoluments clause and a couple others, is to prevent that from happening. So before we even, I mean, honestly, it's like when they got Al Capone on tax evasion. He had all these other crimes he committed, but he insulated himself quite well. He had his henchmen do it, but it was tax evasion is how they got him. You need to arrest these people on the Logan Act, or fine them, or imprison them, or have a trial. That's how we uncover the Bilderberg group. I'm just saying. They're talking about how they're going to cut up the world and all this, and they have this conference every year. I vote every year, and I will always vote, but it's more evidence that electoral politics ain't going to change anything, because both parties are basically, they're puppets. And the marionettes, I mean, the strings are pulled by people way more powerful that you never see, that have a secret meeting every year. So follow the money, connect the dots, get the truth, and shave your knuckles for justice.